I asked, hey there, on Instagram, what kind of videos do you like to see? And I got some good suggestions. And one of the suggestions I got was, can you do your top 3 of inks? And I thought that was kind of nice. So at the end of every year, I have a greatest of all time pen video. I have once done my top 10 fountain pen inks. And here's some good inks. There's some nice inks, I think. But that video is a couple years old now. And so I thought it might be nice to update that, but to try to not make it too long, just have 3 inks. And I think I've managed to narrow it down to 3 plus 1. So you have to give me that one. But those are inks I go back to a lot. I'm going to tilt the camera down. I've put those inks in some juicy pens, so you should be able to see the inks really nicely. I'll talk you through why I like them so much. And then that's all there's to it. So my absolute all-time favorite inks. Let's get started. Okay, so here we go with my top 3 plus 1. Sorry, sip of tea. Absolute favorite, all-time favorite inks. And the only one I didn't put on it is Waterman Serenity Blue, whatever it's called now. I think it's Serenity Blue. That's a wonderful washable blue, but I ran out of it, so I have to get some new one. And it's just blue, but as blues go, it's great. I had to make choices, and here are my 3 favorites. So I'm in no particular order. I'm just gonna start. My first ink is a red ink, and it doesn't really matter what pen it is in, but this happens to be an LB5 made by Classic Pens. This is a stub nib. I try to pick some broad nibs that actually show off the ink. This is a stub nib, and the ink is Mont Blanc. And yes, this is a Danny Trio nib. It's not supposed to be on this pen, but guess what? It is. Corn Poppy Red. Now, why do I like this ink? I believe it's discontinued, but I could be wrong. The reason I like it is that this is a true red. Often when you have a red ink, it's orange-y. It has a slightly orange component to it. I don't really like that. Schaefer Script is a really good alternative to this ink. It was recommended to me by Richard Binder. He knows what he's talking about. Beautiful, intense red as well. Corn Poppy, to me, has just a slightly better shading. Now, you can't really see it. This paper, it feathers a tiny bit. It might not be the best paper to show it off, but if you need a red ink, if you can find Corn Poppy anywhere, it's a great candidate. It just gives you that really nice intense redness, and I really like it. I'll just do a little bit of fiddling. There we go. This is, by the way, this is an absolutely stellar nib. It's tuned by Mike Masseyama. It's beautiful. So if a red is what you are looking for, that's my choice. Blue we talked about. What else? I hope this is going to show up a bit in ways of contrast. Another ink that I love, and that some people passionately hate, but I find myself I keep coming back to this. This would be a Conid king size bulk filler. King size bulk filler. The ink here is Edelstein, and I believe this is also discontinued. So the question is how useful this video is, but I mean, sorry, you asked. Star Ruby Red. Unlike the Mont Blanc, which is red, if you think of red, this is what you think of. The Edelstein Star Ruby Red is like candy, and I'll upload a picture. I try to have the lighting as well as I can have it on that. It's like a candy. It's a beautiful pinkish ink. It's not a hot pink. it just has a wonderful color to it that I absolutely love. I love that hue. And it looks nice in a pen too, because it is translucent. It's a little hard to show you that, but it is actually translucent. You can look see through it. I love this ink because it just has such an interesting color. And that might not have been what you expected, but I just love it. And in some like broader nibs or even finer nibs, it doesn't matter. It always looks really cool. The next ink that I have picked, I'm afraid that you could see this coming, but is of course my own ink, S.B.R.E. Brown. I'm the most biased person on earth when it comes to that ink, but there you are. Here we have a Bologna Extra pen by Armando Simoni Club, now the pen family. And I will show you this ink in two pens just because I have it. Because with this ink I have found it really varies based on what nib you put it in. So here we have a fine Magic Flex nib. Which is meant to, as the name suggests, to give you some line variation, to flex. Should go a little slower. I have always loved the way my ink shades, and it can be quite warm. Now, this ink is a little finer, so it may not show it off very well. Here you go with a broader nib. This is a double broad titanium nib. This is a Titan Pens Great Exposition. William Shakur made this for me. This is very wet. Again, I'll try to have a picture because with this light, it's always hard to capture the ink hues well on camera. Over. What I love about my ink beyond the shading is that it's a very warm hue of brown. And I really enjoy that. Now this, again, it might also not be the greatest paper to show off these inks because it does feather a bit and it absorbs it a bit. But I do really like the way it writes. Now, the final ink, this was the runner-up. I have it in this massive nib. This is a Sailor Cross Point nib. It's another Titan Pens pen. This is, and I don't have much space, so I'm just going to write the name. This is Lamy Mango, and I absolutely love it because it is mango. It's that. It's yellow, orangey. It's exactly what a mango looks like when you cut it open. And the nice thing is that it's dark enough to read on white paper, as you can see here. So you get a very nice ink that looks yellowish, but that is dark enough to be read. I hate yellow inks that you cannot read. What's the point? What's the point having that ink? So here are my number 3 of all time inks, and once they've dried you can see the shade a little bit better of the Edelstein, for example. I'll make sure there is a picture of the inks on the website. There you go. This would be my choice. How strongly can you disagree with this? Please let me know what your favorite inks would be, or are, not would be, what they are. And I look forward to reading all that. I hope this was somewhat interesting, and I'll gladly see you later. Bye!